Hello and welcome back everybody to episode number 10 in this FS Academy Navigator series. Today we're going to be flying around the skyline of New York City. So before we jump into that, if you like this content, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I would truly appreciate it. All right, that's enough talking, so let's jump in.
Major cities around the world are usually accompanied by one or more international airports. Light VFR traffic such as ourselves wouldn't be able to fly through the busy airspace that surrounds these large airports, so some locations operate special local flying routes. We're tracking the Hudson River southbound towards New York City, and we're going to take advantage of the Class B Exclusion Zone to transit New York airspace. This is the New York Special Flight Rules Area, which will allow us to fly below the Class B airspace system that services LaGuardia, Teterboro and Newark Liberty. The concept is simple. Fly along the Hudson River below 1,300 feet, keeping to the right, and announce your position over the radio as you go. This means that southbound traffic such as ourselves keep to the western shoreline, with northbound flights keeping to the east, so that we keep out of each other's way. Take us down to 1,200 feet, so that we are at a suitable altitude to fly the Hudson Exclusion Zone.
Alright, we'll drop down to 1,200 feet, but it's already bumpy up here. We are flying in default sim conditions, no add-ons other than this FS Academy.
Great. Now get set up and trimmed out at 1,200 feet. We'll need to keep this altitude for the full length of the zone. Starting at the communications tower listed on the chart as Alpine Tower, the zone stretches southbound past NYC the full length of the Hudson. To comply with the procedure, we must announce our position at each mandatory reporting point on Common Traffic Advisory Frequency, CTAF. Tune the COM1 to the CTAF frequency of 123.05.
One, two, 3, 0, 5. Okay, and here we go.
The Hudson marks the border between New Jersey and New York State. It flows southbound towards the ocean. I'll point out each reporting point as we go, but don't feel the need to fly directly overhead them, as we must keep to the right side of the Hudson the whole way. The entry to the exclusion zone and our first reporting point is Alpine Tower, a radio mast beside the Hudson. Alpine Tower is also known as Armstrong Tower, and it stands over 400 feet tall. Built in 1938 to experiment with radio, leading to the modern FM radio.
I'm not sure Alpine Tower is even modeled. Doesn't look like it.
Now that we have reached Alpine Tower, we'll make our first position report. Cessna, Alpine Tower 1200 feet southbound. We don't expect a reply, as this is a simple broadcast of our position for others to hear, alerting them to our presence. The next reporting point is the George Washington Bridge, referred to as simply GWB. The George Washington is a double-deck suspension bridge that spans the Hudson and is the world's busiest motor vehicle bridge, carrying over 100 million vehicles a year.
It's more like a dam than a bridge.
We're reaching the bridge, so we'll make another position report. Cessna GWB, 1200 feet southbound. The Intrepid Sea, Air and Space Museum is our next reporting point and is a really fascinating place. USS Intrepid is an aircraft carrier which served in the United States Navy between 1943 to 1974, with a flight deck of around 900 feet in length. In the white pavilion on top lives the Enterprise space shuttle, with the supersonic Concorde stationed below it. Do remember not to steer towards Intrepid, as we need to keep to the right side of the Hudson.
Yep, will do. Maybe it's an unpopular opinion, but I think some of these cities, even though they look cool from like high above, when you get close to them, these photo generated cities, they kind of remind me of like the post-apocalyptic type movies you see, you know, like Planet of the Apes or something, where the buildings look all old and decrepit and there's like trees growing up everywhere. I noticed a lot of that inside this sim on some of these areas. Still very cool though what you can do now in this sim, so not complaining, just an observation.
Cessna Intrepid, 1200 feet southbound. Next up in terms of reporting points is the Colgate clock, which is a huge clock face situated in New Jersey beside the Goldman Sachs Tower. A Colgate clock has been in this area since 1906, with the original being stationed on the roof of the company headquarters to celebrate their centennial year. It has 8 sides to represent their octagon sew, which was one of their most well-known products at the time. It's known as the clock reporting point.
Statue of Liberty, I can see it from here, right out front, 12 o'clock.
Cessna clock, 1200 feet southbound. Our next reporting point is unmistakable. The the Statue of Liberty. Constructed in France and gifted to the USA as a symbol of friendship, the outer shell is built from copper. The green oxidized surface only appeared after around 15 years, as the copper reacts with the oxygen in the air over time. Lady Liberty stands at 151 feet in height. The torch was used as a lighthouse for a short time, before being decommissioned, as it was determined to not be bright enough for shipping. Cessna, Statue of Liberty, 1200 feet, southbound. The next reporting point is the Verrazano Narrows Bridge, which represents the southern tip of the exclusion zone and is reported as VZ. The bridge links Staten Island with Brooklyn and had a misspelt name for much of its life, with a missing Z, until this was officially corrected in 2018. Opened in 1964, the bridge is named after the first European explorer to enter New York Harbor, Giovanni da Verrazano, who came here in 1524. Cessna VZ, 1200 feet, southbound. Now that we're out of the exclusion zone, we can navigate as we please and climb back up to a suitable en route altitude. There are plenty of examples for other local flying procedures at US airports, known as flyways, which operate in much the same way as the Hudson exclusion zone. Look out for this type of procedure before dismissing such busy airspace as unfeasible, as you might just find a local route that would not only allow safe passage, but give you stunning views, as we have seen here in New York City. Next, we're headed for Scotland to look at crossing stretches of water and a few last items before we send you solo on a trip.
Right, folks, that'll do it. Thanks again for following along. Again, if you like this type of content and want to see more, just click that like and subscribe button. Until next time, I'll see you later.